Hey everybody! Welcome to another episode of Couvered.
Yes. I am Kayla.
And I'm Samantha.
And today we are going to take you guys down memory lane.
Yes.
And we're going to tell a little story, but we're going to start from 6, 7, 8 months ago now.
Really?
So technically like 7 months.
So 7 months?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like 6.5. Yeah. But yeah, we wanted to share a little story about something that God has put on our hearts about 6.5 months ago. And yeah, we'll take you on a little journey.
Okay, so 6 months ago, we were not even a year into our career, but we just knew like it wasn't for us.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, we come from a science background. We both majored in some sort of biology.
Yeah.
That's how we met.
Yes.
On the job. And around January, we were just like, there has to be another way. Like,
yeah.
There's no way we're going to spend the next 40 years of our lives doing this.
Exactly. And at the time, it also seemed like not that we already knew that was not what we were going to have our future look like, but that's kind of what everyone else's future was kind of like. And because it was much older people who stayed there for 40 plus years, and retired there, and they were in similar positions as us. So it was kind of just like, okay, we need to make sure that we don't end up like this.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything bad with it, but it just wasn't for us. And mind you, like, there was barely any windows. Lighting was terrible, so it was depressing.
Yeah, it was dark.
It was dark. We were isolated. It is dark, yes. Isolated.
It wasn't what I thought life would be like post college.
Yeah.
And so I'm always, if you know me, if you're close to me, I'm always coming up with these very creative business ideas, but I just never see them all the way through, basically. So at this time I was coming up with several business ideas. And at this particular time, I'm not going to bore you with all the other ones, but at this particular time I was really trying to start like an athleisure type of brand. That was like where my mind was going.
Yeah.
Because at the time, like, I was just seeing all these athleisure brands being pushed on TikTok that were just like the shorts. Everybody knows the shorts, the butt shorts.
With a little scrunch.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't want to wear that to the gym. Like, maybe when I was younger, but
they're uncomfortable too. Personally, The thing is, you can still feel good in other clothing. Like, we're not saying you gotta be all baggy and wear long pants, because it's the gym. It's hot, you get sweaty or whatever. But personally, those pants that try to make your butt look good, those are uncomfortable to me. They actually TMI, but give me a wedgie, like, guys. Like, I don't know.
So that was literally the motivating, I guess, like, force behind it. And so I was talking to Sam about it, and somehow we ended up just coming up with another idea that we'll tell you guys about it, but we want to tell the story first before we tell like all the juicy stuff. So
she was on this athleisure thing, and I love being inspired by other people. From her athleisure band, I started throwing out ideas like, we should do this, and we were in the lab and we were just like discussing. We were doing some experiment, and we were thinking like, what if we just made something ourselves, because we haven't seen anything like what we're envisioning. So we were like, maybe we could do it. So
that basically birthed Couvered, and Sam actually came up with the name while we were in lab. She was just spitting out names. And I was like, okay, that one could work. And a part of our plan was obviously to build an audience here with you guys and build a community also. And this actually wasn't, the podcast was very much not last minute, but it wasn't the original plan.
It was an afterthought.
Yeah, it was an afterthought. But I do believe that God did it for a reason, because now we do have a community of 1,600 people who do care at least a little bit about what we have to say. So that's how we ended up with the Couvered podcast, and then from there we plan to expand into our original business.
In our lifestyle, our faith, would be this podcast, and it would help us grow closer and stay rooted in what we're doing, and the whole point behind the whole reason behind why we even started it.
So we've been working on this behind the scenes of the Couvered podcast for the last 6 months. We made like this Canva project manager thing for each quarter, and of course in the first quarter it was important that we get our like
a brand image.
Which, guys, that's another passion of mine. Nerd moment. I will nerd out on some good branding. Oh my gosh.
No, I'm telling y'all, the branding and then the logo creation, that was all her.
Love me, Illustrator, Photoshop. So if you guys need me, you know where to find me. So okay, we did the branding, and then afterwards we did the legal stuff.
Yeah, we did the legal stuff. You know, the LLC, EIN.
Oh, the bank account.
The bank account. It was just like a lot of things that, like you said, ducks in a row, just to make sure everyone's covered. I didn't even mean that one, no pun intended. Just to make sure everything is just great for everybody, and that, like, you know, we're not stepping on nobody's toes legally. I mean, not on each other's, but legally.
Yeah.
So
it's just important to kind of have those formations in set, because it protects both of us, and it protects the business, and so definitely do that if you're thinking about starting a business. Get your stuff together legally. Then we went on to have our very first photo shoot. We actually did it very recently, and it went so well, especially for us to have like a free
public space.
We used a public space in our city or whatever, and for it to be taken in public is our very first time. We didn't have an experienced photographer, but he did a good job.
Great, really great.
We didn't have experienced models. Like, we literally worked with what we had, and it turned out still very professional. Because anything I do, I can't have it looking rinky-dink. That would make me sick to my stomach. So I'm just very excited, and I felt like I was very much in my element. It was our first time creative directing. Sam was really good working with the models and keeping them on top of everything.
But she had the image of what like the photos were gonna look like, and you know, whenever, if y'all ever want to see the photos, you know, maybe you guys will see it eventually, but they are great
Follow
photos.
us on Instagram, because we'll be posting, but we'll talk more about them. But they did come out really good.
It's been a little hard on financial side for both of us, solely because, like, you know, in order to make money, you got to invest a little bit, you got to risk a little bit, and that's what a lot of people tell you. But obviously you have to be smart about it, so plan, obviously. So we are going basically out of pocket for a lot of these things. Why did I say basically? No, we're going out of pocket for everything. And so, like you said, we are working with what we have, and it's just been pretty good so far. You know, that's how you can really tell God has just been really on our side, because whatever God puts on our hearts, whatever He tells us to do, He will equip us to do it and prepare us along the way, because we're not going to lack anything.
I was thinking, like, I remember one day I worked, because I started something, but I didn't see it through. I posted a few episodes and I checked out. And then Sam was like, we should start a podcast together. And I had been thinking it, but I had been a little bit too timid to like come out and say it. And I was like, oh, thank God. I'm like, thank you, Jesus, that you knew I wasn't going to be the one to say it. I'm so glad you got her to say it. And so that's how we ended up here. And also, it gives us a platform to actually showcase our business now. Like, we're not launching to an empty crowd or to people who don't know us. Like, we have a solid group of people who can not even shop with us, but just hear our story and just be motivated and be inspired, and hopefully do the same thing themselves.
The image that we have for the brand, but also the podcast, you know, they kind of tie in together, and it's just kind of, we're trying to make just one big like
empire.
Empire, whatever. But with the big idea and the big goal in the end to just bring people more to God's kingdom, because through this, you know, we're sharing our faith, and then through the like clothing business, we're also impacting others and being able to reach people, hopefully nationally, internationally, and bring them back to, you know, who are you? Then they're gonna wonder why we did this, and maybe they'll leave them here and they can see our face.
So yes, we are working on a clothing brand, obviously, and I do want to preface this by saying that modesty, for the most part, is subjective.
Yes.
So some pieces on there, you know, some people may think, oh, this is modest, and some people may think it's not.
So what we're trying to do here is like what you said, you know, modesty is subjective, so we're trying to make it so that, you know, whatever modesty is in your head, obviously there's a baseline here, and we're trying to make it so that any woman can feel comfortable at different stages of where they're at. And so, I mean, speaking from experience, I used to dress immodestly, and it's something that I'm still also learning. And like, from what I used to wear to what we'll be, you know, designing and selling and editing and everything is modest to me. So if that's not modest to you guys, like, you know, we completely understand. That's okay, and you don't have to buy it. You know, that's totally fine.
So we do want to be inclusive of all people, including Christians, but you know, people who may be non-Christian and they just want clothing that doesn't compromise themselves, or that makes them feel comfortable, whatever they're comfortable in. So we're not like exclusively for Christians, because Jesus hung out with people who, you know, didn't believe, and that's what I think we want to do. Also, we want to try and get people who may not understand, may not, you know, necessarily agree, but we bring them in through fashion, we bring them in through style, we bring them in through lifestyle. You know? So that's like our ultimate goal. Our ultimate vision is to unite people, regardless of faith, regardless of beliefs, but unite people under a common like value system.
You know, we're trying to style with grace. And that includes everyone. Just how God intended it to be.
That was just a little disclaimer that we wanted to throw in there, because I know somebody, at least one person's going to be like, but her sleeve, her arms are out, that's not modest. And I just wanted to clear it up before we even got at least one comment.
So definitely, if it's not modest to you guys, that's totally fine. But we're not just appealing to people on here, but we're trying to appeal to all women everywhere. After 6.5 long months, we are so happy to announce that Couvered,
the clothing brand. Today at 12 p.m. Eastern, you can head over to our website, www.buycovered.com, and you can begin shopping and starting your journey to classy and elegant style, you know?
It is pre-orders right now for the next 2 weeks, but whoever pre-orders, your orders will be coming out first, and as quick as we can. And then our official launch that's open to everybody would be on the 19th. So we are very excited to announce this to you guys first. So, you know, having you guys here following our journey and everything, you guys get the first little announcement.
With the pre-orders, if you do pre-order on our website now, you will receive your orders before September 1st. So orders will go out the day that we open up to the public for launch. So we'll send everything out August 19th, and you should have it to, you know, later than the 25th. But just to give you a little bit of room for shipping errors or whatever, you'll definitely have it by September 1st.
So we are just referring, unfortunately, to the United States only. We are only domestic as of right now. In the future, we do hope to move internationally and be able to sell to all of our beautiful women around the world. But right now, it is just here.
So just give us a little bit of time, guys. If you are international, please let us know in the comments below, just so we can see what the demand is and we can work something out, hopefully a little bit sooner rather than later. And now here's a quick preview of our From the Garden collection.
Friends may come and friends may go, but you should know that I got your back. It's all.
So I guess that's it. We just want to thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Thank you in advance for, you know, your future support, and then just your constant support here as well. So yeah.
And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Don't forget to go ahead and check out the description below.
Yes.
We'll have all the websites linked down below. And yeah, hope to see you in some of the pre-orders.
Yes.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.